This is me, making the film that I would later consider to be my best work to date. This is also me, in my first ever action sequence. If someone told me that I would go from this to this in 3 years' time, I probably would have shot them in denial. When I say that the Brother Duel Round 2 is my best work, it's kind of visible. But before I can talk about Round 2, we need to talk about Round 1. I remember 3 years ago, I wanted to attempt to make an action series. I got inspiration from Video Game High School and Rocket Jump videos. When I watched all these videos, I was like, this is absolutely brilliant. I want to make something like this.
Oh god. Are we really going there? Okay, it was called Gamer. It wasn't that good. It was very, very rushed, very unorganized.
It was a mess. But one thing that was special about that series, despite it being completely garbage, was that I added guns with muzzle flashes. Guns with muzzle flashes mean action.
I think Gamer is so important to Andy because it is possibly his first film where he actually implemented fighting scenes.
At the time, I was so glad that I found these muzzle flashes because it made every gun look 10 times cooler when muzzle flashes came out. So I started making videos with more of those.
Yeah, I do remember. There were lots of films that we made about fighting before the Brother Duel. It was almost like a build-up towards this larger project.
The problem with Ben was that he wasn't into films and movies, so I want him to get used to how filming works. I put him in a lot of videos of mine so I could give him a glimpse of how I do things while also improving every step of the way.
What do you want for breakfast? Wallet, phone.
And he...
I remember experimenting with different fight moves, and I even started doing moves in my spare time. One problem about me is that I'm not an experienced martial artist. I was jealous that my brother was learning martial arts at the time.
We didn't learn much about fighting in there. It was more like, there wasn't much of that punching, fancy moves. It was more like fundamental and basic. It was very lame.
But ironically, I was the one who wanted to do fight scenes more than him. I came up with the idea of a sibling fight in about October of 2024. I wanted to make an action short that combined most of my best strengths because previously I had made very short fights that didn't look super great, but were the starting point of what the Brother Duel was. For example, Tutorial Gone Wrong takes place in the same corridor as the Brother Duel. In Gamer, I had the technique of whip panning, so I can have the illusion of there being a separate cameraman, despite it just being the two of us.
In my opinion, the hardest part of filming the Brother Duel 1 would possibly be finding the correct time periods to be able to film it in.
The entirety of the first Brother Duel was improvised. Everything, yes, everything from start to finish. We thought of those moves on the spot. I wanted to make good action sequences that was not just eye torture for people. For example, shaky cam. I heavily dislike it. And quick cuts. I personally think that the first Brother Duel was the combination of everything I had done well in previous films. It was funny and had good action. What more could you ask for?
On set, my favorite part of filming the Brother Duel 1 would probably be the cool shots you could do with a gun. It felt like you were a main character in a large project. It felt really cool.
My favorite part on set was the feeling of experimenting. It felt so good, and just checking every shot to make sure it looked right. My favorite camera shot in the film is the part where I get punched in a low shot. That was brilliant.
Andy is a director who likes to get things done. He had like a burning passion to be able to like actually start the filming and edit it.
The filming took a few hours across 2 weeks, but honestly, I was very happy with what I did, especially going outside to perform these stunts. That was one of my favorite components of the film. You can't forget that a key component of this film is the editing.
Andy, as an editor, he's very determined to be able to use limited VFX to create the most entertaining movie experience towards the audience.
Editing took long enough, because of how each shot had to flow well with the rest. It took a lot of overlaying to get every shot looking crisp and well stitched together. I showed it to some of my friends, and I also posted it on YouTube. My friends reacted very positively about it, and my fans wanted another one. It was my signature film for a while, but with the amount of editing, hard work, and bruised bits that we put into this film, we laid off a bit. I wanted to let it sink in. Then, a crucial 4 months passed. I moved out of my house. I made a documentary about that entire process. I left my school and then went into a new school. I had literally rebooted my entire life. It was insane. On top of that, I was starting my music career. It was absolute mayhem.
One day, a few months ago, we were in a car together.
I was in the car with Ben when we were going to shop at a local store. Out of nowhere, I asked Ben
whether if I wanted to film the Brother Duel 2 with him. I don't know why, but regardless, I said yes.
Well, I kind of pushed him to do it because of the hype that we were receiving. But honestly though, I feel like Ben said yes for the sake of his good heart. This film could have not been done if Ben didn't agree first. When Ben said yes, I went straight to work. Making a sequel is quite hard because you need to make something that can stand out to the original. While I had a formula that I can work with, which is conflict, fight, kill each other, I still wanted to make sure it stood out. I had the goal to make the sequel better than the original. One of the things I had to take a look at was, what did people like about round 1 that we can do in round 2? People like the fighting, the comedy and action together, the silly disagreement, and of course, as someone who has watched many sequels, there are many things you should do for a sequel and many things you shouldn't. But when you make a sequel, and it works, you got a franchise. You have a formula that you can work with. You can do brilliant things in that formula too. For this documentary, I asked some people who have worked on great projects in the past for advice on preparing for what they do. Like, how do you prepare for what you do?
My video process is quite simple. First, I come up with an idea, then I write the script, then I record, then I animate, film, or do whatever it takes to bring that recording to life.
How we prepare for an animated video is heavily dependent on what kind of animation or what style you're going for. And for example, maybe if you're aiming for something more animatic, you don't have to do as much work as you would need to do a full animation, which has its own order of thumbnail, storyboarding, animatic, rough, cleanup, color, and composition.
The first step for me is DMing my asset artist and getting all the assets ready. Then I collect the recordings from my voice actors. Once I have that, I start animating. After the animation's done, I polish it up by adding music, sound effects, and any other extra touches. And then finally, I release the video.
I've been an amateur voice actor online for the past 5 years. I don't do much to prep for it outside of throwing some towels up and crossing my fingers. Most of it is just waiting for my voice to feel like it.
Sure. I mainly try to get a feel for the characters, about what's going on, and how they interact with one another.
Lately, I've just been writing down all my ideas as talking points, and I naturally just tell the story to my friends, and I animate that. There's not much scripted stuff these days. I do go back and re-record moments, like the intro, make it a little more snappier, add some jokes here and there, maybe. But yeah, 80% is improv, and 20% is scripted.
As an amateur filmmaker, it usually takes a maximum of a few days to complete a short film. But this short film was different. Very different. One of the biggest differences was the storyboard process. I had never done storyboarding in my life. The only videos that I storyboarded were dominant projects in the past, but storyboarding this film felt very special. Storyboarding is basically drawing all of the scenes that would take place. Which camera angle do you want? And most importantly, what moves do you want to add? There is so much inspiration from different fight scenes throughout the fight, like Hot Fuzz, Bullet Train, Detective Chinatown, Safe House, Hardcore Henry, The Matrix, Stuff and Sam, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Deadpool and Wolverine, Batman v Superman, Portal, more Detective Chinatown, and the iconic killing each other shot was inspired by Freddie Wong himself. The storyboarding process took 3 weeks, and I had to wait for the right time to shoot everything. The fun part about storyboarding is that you can do literally anything, but you need to make sure that it flows right. In the short film, there are 5 distinct acts. You get the expositional introduction, the rising action, then the fight scene begins with guns, switches to katana, and ends with combat. In the meantime, I bought a sugar bottle for the introduction a month in advance, and I just needed to wait until the winter holidays and finally get into that crazed action state.
Then something happened.
My mom told me that I was going to get a minor toe surgery for my ingrown toenail that I've had for 3 years, on both toes, as a matter of fact. They were going to operate on the first day of the winter holidays. At the time, I was happy about it, that I could finally get the torment out of my life forever, but then I realized that I wanted to film round 2 on the same holiday. I was talking about it until my dad said to me, "Do you want to walk properly again, or make your short film?" At the time, I didn't respond, because I knew it was going to happen either way. But I secretly kind of muttered to myself, what about both? So, I had my toe surgery, awake, with anesthesia. My mom recorded the whole thing, and I was finally free from my 3-year torment. I organized a plan, which I nicknamed Mission Recovery. The winter holidays are 2 weeks long. I planned that if I could walk and run again in a long enough time, then I would be able to finish filming round 2. So I waited 1.5 weeks. During those 1.5 weeks, I made another big contribution to the short film, which was making the original soundtrack for it. While I was scheming around the internet for good soundtracks for this fight scene, I realized that there was simply none, because of copyright, and it was just not in my reach. So I decided to make my own music. At the time, I didn't want to because of how much time it would take, but with the 1.5 weeks I had, it was perfect. So I spent that time making the 4 songs that would appear in the short film, and I was proud of all of them. I felt like I achieved so many great things with that soundtrack, and that it would build the importance of round 2. Then, I finally could walk and run again, and I was very happy.
But now, as my toe is recovering, I can finally touch grass.
I told Ben the day I recovered that we would be shooting round 2 tomorrow.
Alright Ben, are you excited for filming the Brother Duel 2 tomorrow? I said, like, you know how important it is to you that it is to me?
Everything was ready. The storyboard, the props, the setting, the weather, everything was ready. Finally, the day had come. 3 months worth of preparation to finally get to where I was now. But if people suggested that filming this film was easy, I would rip your trachea out because it was sure as hell not easy. Nothing relating to fight sequences is easy. Unlike every fight sequence that came before it, this was the hardest, most complex, and most prepared fight sequence I had ever made. The filming was split into 2 days. The first day was for the indoor scenes, while the second day was for all the outdoor scenes. The first day was by far the most exhausting day. As we went from scene to scene, we hurt each other.
Oh my god! He didn't fall in line.
We took breaks. Our parents were generous enough to use the space for the entire 6-hour shoot. I made sure I had alternate takes, different camera angles, and every kind of backup. Because when you edit and the shot is bad and there is no backup, you rethink your life choices. It becomes the standout black spot to you in this film. That's a horrible feeling. But after I had finished the final shot of the indoor scenes, I felt so happy.
Andy was incredibly determined and ambitious to do this project, especially since he enjoyed the filming process of the Brother Duel 1 and the positive feedback the commenters gave him on it. So that really sparked something in him to actually create a second part to this.
I feel like this would be a fantastic work of art now that the major part is finished, and then we can move on to the more iconic outdoor scenes. Oh, I also did that too. While shooting the outdoor scenes, I felt filming flowed a lot smoother now that I had a taste of the chaos I had created. But for every punch I took, every step I made, every angle I adjusted, I knew I was making a work of art that people can see and say, wow. Then, after 3 months of all of this chaos, I did the final shot. Now, the only thing that was standing in my way is the final repercussion, editing. I went for the rough edit, to the color grading, to the visual and sound effects, to finally, the music. All of this combined together created the visual masterpiece that we know now, the Brother Duel Round 2. 2. I was scared about the reception of round 2, but thankfully I got positive reviews for it.
I'm here for people. Yep. This place is where all the magic happens, unfortunately. Here we are, everyone. Sydney Opera House, everybody. This is crazy. Can't believe we're here.
Oh yeah.
The day we've been dreading.
Oh, the day you've been dreading, I'm fine.
Yeah, you're fine, because you don't care.
I do care.
You do
For
care. Thank you. Oh, look at that.
A bit of technical difficulties over here, guys.
Yeah, we have some technical difficulties because apparently the tickets did not go through the messages, and so we're just calling Mom to hopefully get us out of this sticky situation. Bye, bags. That should be good. Okay. Thank you. Let's go. It's a Western Foyer. Western Foyer. Western Foyers. Yeah, here we are. There's the supposed red carpet right there. That's what a red carpet looks like, apparently. And
It's fine though. Whoa, what's this?
so we just took some photos. I don't know if we'll ever see them because they get to choose the photos to be posted on social media. But who knows? Maybe we win something. So that's some still water, some premium still water, because that's a thing. And yeah, we're just gonna wait over here. We were losing our minds trying to find our tickets, but I think we should be completely fine. We should be fine. Like, if we're not fine, then that's not good. So yeah, hopefully we're completely fine. Yay. And yeah, I did not use this camera to record stuff, and honestly, I don't record anything like this where I'm holding the camera with one hand. But, you know, like, yeah, this is my first time inside the Sydney Opera House, and we're gonna be watching a film that I made there, so that's crazy. There's people right over there. College.
I know, probably just a private school. Some bit of people here.
Oh, man.
We sit at the front.
We sit. What? The far back?
Alright, guys, we're taking
The whole thing.
The film? This? What do you mean this film? So, we're here. And they said that you probably shouldn't have your phones open during this.
Really?
Yeah, but this is a camera, and I don't think a camera is a phone. Don't you think?
I mean, it doesn't count as one, right?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, yeah, it doesn't.
It's not a phone.
It's not a phone. It's not a smartphone.
It's a camera.
Yeah, it's a camera. And this is Jordan. He is the amazing director of Static.
Yes!
Yes.
I'm so good at this.
Guess who's gonna win?
Not you.
Not us. No.
Not either of us.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Sydney Opera House this beautiful Saturday. I am Angela Blake. To do the Best Editing Award.
Best editing to Andy Tang, the Brother Duel.
Congratulations, Andy. That was a great edit. I don't know how you edited.
That made me feel that all of the pain that I went through was worth every second.
I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10.
A 10 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
It was really fun to watch, especially with your signature style of comedy.
It's an awesome movie. It's amazing how someone with such a small budget can make something so good.
Pretty well made. It looks fun. These guys are having fun, I can tell.
The production value was nice, the pacing worked, and it had some really fun moments.
The cinematography and direction was great, and it had some amazing action scenes that I think are very difficult to achieve. It was nailed really well.
There's always room to refine things,
There's always room for improvement.
but overall, it was really enjoyable.
Now, there are a couple of words that I can describe round 2.
Cinema.
Chaotic.
It's astonishing.
And it's a little chaotic.
Impressive.
Creative.
Yes. It's stylish, it's creative, it's hate, it's passion, it's violent, chaotic, amateur art. But I guess those are all the things that you see from a great action movie. Will round 3 come? Bring it on.